Facebook Live. We are live. We are live. 3:30. It's a Facebook Live. Today we're going to be talking about how to deal with a partner who has a fixed mindset. Hold on, it's asking me to do something here. Let me close a couple of these other things. Okay, cool. So today we're going to be talking about how to deal with a partner who has a fixed mindset. This is something I have experience in, a lot of experience. And it's also something I want to share with you. Maybe you're experiencing that in your relationship. So, first, who am I? My name is Robert Twine. If this is your first time seeing me here on the live video, hello. I help couples overcome their biggest conflict so they can rekindle the spark. If that's you, stay tuned. Um, so, we want to talk about a fixed mindset, and what do we do whenever a partner has a fixed mindset and we have a growth mindset? Well, first, what is a fixed mindset? So if you don't know what a fixed mindset, I'm going to tell you my definition. I don't even know if this is the common definition, but to me, a fixed mindset is like really being comfortable with just being where you're at. You know enough to get by and you're happy with that. You're not really focused on learning anything new. You're just in a comfortable state. Maybe you're comfortable with being uncomfortable. A fixed mindset is just kind of you're just kind of where you are and you like it and you want to stay there. Not really concerned about learning new things. You just are comfortable. That would be my definition of a fixed mindset. And then a growth mindset would be kind of the opposite of that. You want to learn new things. You want to grow. You want to learn what you can do to be better. And sometimes this can happen in relationships. This happened in my relationship. My wife and I, when we got together, we partied. We were at like karaoke, singing, having fun. And then later on down the road, that started becoming a big challenge for me, especially. So I started going to like 12-step meetings and stuff like that, different 12-step groups and stuff like that to try to really get out of that whole scene of the whole drinking thing and going crazy and partying. And I started to grow through that process and working through that process. And, my partner also stopped drinking and she wasn't going to 12-step meetings. So there became a space between us. And that became bigger and bigger and bigger the longer that I went and did that. And then I got involved in personal development. I started going to get coaching trainings and hypnotherapy certifications and neuro-linguistic programming certifications and all these different certifications in personal development, self-development, self-help, and coaching. And then there was another distance between her and I. And the further in I got into those kind of learnings and things, the more that I got into that, the more I turned and looked at her and said, like, what the hell are you doing? You're not doing anything, and I'm doing all this work. I'm putting in all this time, and I'm growing myself, and I'm trying to learn what I can figure out and uncover all that old past baloney and figure out how to get rid of that crap from the past and clear my traumas so I can have a better life. And I started to look at her like in a way where I said to myself like, oh, what's going on? I'm doing all this stuff. What are you doing? And it started to come from not from a place of compassion, but I started to become really judgmental. Started to really label, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk about is the labels that come with whenever we see our partner as having a fixed mindset. We really label them. Maybe you would call it a pigeonhole, or we really get a strong judgment against them. Like, what's up with these? They don't want to do anything to change. Like, they don't want to do anything to work. I started to look at her in a way that was like, I'm better than you. I'm better than you because I'm doing all these things to change. What are you doing? What are you doing to change? And I think that's one of the challenges of what what do we do when a partner has a fixed mindset? Is I think the biggest thing we can do is really just love them where they are and understand, like, only through, I mean, how many times has anybody come to you and been like, you got to change? Like, imagine your boss comes to you and they're like, you need to do your job differently because you're screwing up. Like, how likely is that to be encouraging to help you to change? Because most of us know what we need to change. We know that there's a challenge. We know that there's problems going on. We know that there's things that we could change, but we don't. And that's okay. That's part of where we're at. So I want to bring today the message of the more accepting we can be of that place where they are and really see it's hard work to really uncover our past traumas. It's a lot of work to really uncover all the things that we learned from the past that aren't really helpful right now. You know, and that's part of this, the part of the growth mindset is, what can I unlearn and learn anew so I can be more effective in all my relationships, for myself, for my kids, for my wife, for my family, for when I'm at work. How can I uncover this part of myself, this deeper part of myself, and get in touch with that truth that's in me so I can be a better person? But sometimes on the journey, when we do all that work, it's easy to look back and be like, well, what are you doing? You're not doing anything, you know? So that can be a big challenge. And when we label our partner as fixed mindset, we are putting them in a position of like, hey, you're not doing anything and I am, look at me. And maybe that's not everybody, but that's the way it was for me. And the third thing is, part of growing and part of the growth mindset is learning how to have the discernment and find what they call the circle of influence. You know, how do you influence somebody to do something? Do you influence them by every day telling them how terrible they are? Because that's what we do in our relationships sometimes. Am I right? Do you do that in your relationship, in your marriage? You tell the person every day the thing they're not doing for you. You're not communicating. You're not giving me attention. You're not doing this. You're not doing this. Now, how encouraging do you think that is? You got a fixed mindset. What are you doing? You're lazy. You don't want to do anything. How encouraging is that? If your boss did that to you, would you be encouraged to do anything different? If your boss came to you every day and said, what the heck's wrong with you? You're lazy. You don't ever want to do anything. Or maybe it's not that. But if, you know, just that constant daily, like, hey, you're not giving me this thing I want. Or, hey, why aren't you doing this? Hey, why are you doing that? Hey, you know, every day speaking to that thing. So this is a call to action, you know, is, hey, if you're going through that, that is a pattern. That is something that we build over time. That is something that is, it's a huge hurdle in our marriages and in our relationships. This is habits that we built over years of, you know, saying, why aren't you doing this thing? Well, why aren't you doing that? You should be doing this. You should be doing that. And we kind of get stuck in these ruts where we're like, man, why, if you were just doing this, things would be different. If you were just doing that, things would be different. And that's a hard rut to get out of. You know, that's what I'm here for. If you're having a challenge, you want to reach out, you want more support, you can reach out. We can talk about a deeper level of support of what that would look like. But part of growing and the growth mindset is learning how to discern what is ours and what is other people's, you know, and how do we really influence those closest to us, the sphere of influence. How do we really influence the people around us, especially those in our marriage? Do we influence people by judgment and by pointing the finger? No, and this is just a little slice of all the things that are happening, all the different dynamics that are going on in our marriages that make it so challenging to communicate, to get connection, to get that intimacy that we want, to get those, you know, we just want to be happy. You just want to be happy in your marriage. I'm sure it's one of the things you want. Who doesn't want to be happy in their marriage? We all want to be happy in our marriage, but we're not sure how to do it. And that's what I'm here for. If you're having a challenge with that, if that's something that you're really having a challenge with, we build these patterns over time. It takes a long time. How many years have you been married in your relationship and you've built these patterns that aren't working? It's not something that changes overnight. There's not one video that you're going to watch that's going to be the magic video. Oh, I got it now. I got it. It's it. That's that one thing. We want that one thing, but it takes effort, it takes investment, it takes work, it takes time. And a continuous effort. And sometimes our partner may not be on board as much as we are, and they're not really seeing their part. And that's part of how we can learn how to encourage them and influence them in a different way to help them to see what's going on, what's really going on. And that's my job, is to help people tap into that energy that really helps people change. It never comes from, if you don't do this, I'm going to do that. People, when you give the 1-2, you're going to get it if you don't do what I say. It just, it's heads banging together. Like, that's what I call the cave people dance, where you're like, you're talking in cave language. It's just there is no real communication happening. You're bumping your heads together. You're saying, give me this, and the other person's saying, not until you give me that. It doesn't work. And it's years of learning how to do this that we get to these stalemates where we're like, I can't take this anymore, I gotta go. Or I can't take this anymore, if you don't do something different, that's it. So maybe you're there, maybe you're not. Wherever you are, if you're looking for more support, reach out, send me a message. We'll take a look and see what that looks like. I want to bring this to you today. Hopefully this was helpful. Put something in the comments. Let me know where you're at. 0 to 10, where would you say you are with the growth mindset? 0 being, I don't really care, I'm more of a fixed mindset, I don't want to change. 10 being, I'm ready to do everything under the sun to grow in myself and grow my marriage. Put that in the comments, 0 to 10. And let's see, I got a comment here. See if I can read this. Gonna minimize that. You're coming up on 2 years of marriage in May. Oh, congratulations. The first year was so challenging. And we're learning more and more about each other every day. Congratulations, that's awesome. Yeah, it takes a lot of time. It takes time to learn about ourselves as well. So reach out. I hope this was helpful to you. I'm going to have a Facebook Live again tomorrow at 3:30, and that's going to be on rebuilding connection, how to rebuild connection in your marriage. So I hope this was really helpful for you, and put a comment in the comment box just to say hi. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for being here and listening. That's really, really special that you commented. I appreciate that when people comment. It gives me the energy to keep going, so thank you for that. And reach out if you're looking for more support. I'd love to support you more on this. So have a great day. Thank you for listening, and may your marriage be fun and fulfilling. Thanks. Bye-bye.